Okay, hello and welcome back to High Fleet. So, we're going to start today with just a little bit of a tour of the editor here, the shipworks. So, for the next, basically for the next run, I've created a few new designs, tweaked the old ones. The first one we're going to look at, so I'll just kind of go over the changes and then we'll get into choosing our loadout for the campaign and getting started. First change, we've got the Wasp. The Wasp is now, it costs a few thousand more. It's not a ton extra, but it costs a fair bit more now. For this, we get these armoured wings that are now on. Before it had a bit of armour here, but not much, just protecting this missile. Now it has an additional armoured wing, then another layer of armour. This is all reinforced hull as well. And it now packs 4 missiles instead of 2. So a bit more bang for his buck, quite literally there. The manoeuvring thrusters have now been joined by some fixed propulsion engines, so that they're not all because these are a bit more efficient than these, yet offer, I think they do, yeah, they offer a bit more thrust. So these are the efficient versions as well, not the ones with the extra thrust that suck up all your fuel. So we do have decent range and consumption. It's not great, but this thing isn't meant to be away from the fleet anyway, really, for any great length of time. But this is a nice kind of general purpose all round strike vessel and a bit of a dogfighter as well. I've managed to get the speed up actually a little bit. It's about 50 or 60 so kilometers an hour faster. It's much better. It's a few nice improvements to it, and one of the big improvements as well are these here. They've got some flares now. It cost 1,600 to add them, but yeah, there's 2 sets of flares. They both point downwards. So if a missile's come and go up, flare, and the flares shoot down, and it should go underneath. Right? That's the general gist. Following that, the Hornet has had a few modifications as well. Nothing major, as you'll notice it's still very much the same design. It has had these flares here and here. Now it's had there's nothing different really. There's no real change here, except these ones here have been pointed down. So now all the flares point down. I think what's happening with the missiles is when you shoot out flares, they go for some of the flares randomly. Could be any of them, right? So if all the flares go in one direction, then the missile should just go in that direction, yeah? If I shoot flares downwards, the missile should go beneath me. Last time when we were shooting a couple above and a couple below, because realistically in a real world scenario, yes, you'd shoot them in all directions around the vehicle, the missile would go for one of them, and whichever one it went for, it would miss the vehicle. Right? That's how they work. But in the game, what seems to be happening is it would, because it's 2D, obviously it's side on. Sometimes the missile might be coming from below us, and even though, because again it should go for the nearest ones, it doesn't. It just seems to pick some. So I could be shooting flares down, but it might pick the ones that go up. And so if the missile were coming in like this, like the direction of the cursor is, it would go, oh, I'll go for the ones up, and just slam into the side of us anyway. Yeah? We'd have to hope that it 50-50 guesses. So it basically left it to a 50-50 chance as to whether an incoming missile would go for the correct set of flares that would take it away from the vehicle, rather than the set of flares that would move it directly toward it. So that's just a change, so that all the flares fire off in the right direction, which is going to go below us, in order to dodge missiles. So it's not guesswork anymore. They will go for the ones below, so we just have to make sure that we're being... When missile attacks are coming in, we have to try and get above them or to the side, so we can slightly just fire the flares below and get out of the way, because we'll know the path that the missile's going to take then. Finally, then, we've got a new class of ship that will be joining us. This is the Bomber Bee. The Bomber Bee it's fairly expensive. It's 18.2 thou. It's kind of between the Wasp and the Hornet. The Bomber Bee, instead of the Bumblebee, what it does is it is a designated first strike ship, right? And just like a bee, because I mean it's not just that we're keeping up with the insect thing here. You know, I mean I called the other one the Wasp because hey, it's a small annoying little sod that chips away at you quite nastily, right? The Hornet being a bigger version of it, and that's why it's the Hornet. The Bee, it's because it's basically it's an alpha strike weapon, just like a bee stinger. It stings, then it's kind of done, isn't it? Same thing here. This has got a pair of bombs. I had to kind of rejig everything here. As you notice, it's quite wide compared to the Wasp, but it's got a pair of bombs here and here, and it has 4 missiles, not as much as the Hornet, which has 6, but it's still a nasty missile load, and it's still got those 3 dual mount 57 mils from the Wasp. So it's the Wasp, but now with bombs, basically. That has made it, significantly. It's basically this thing. If we want to set off a first strike on a group of enemies, this is the thing that we can call in, basically. And this will essentially just go in, drop some bombs, kill some people, and you don't have to just be using it as a strike weapon, because, you know, well, the bombs, yes, they'll be really useful against grounded targets if you get a sudden strike off, but the bombs can also be used on large things like nomads, where you can just fly above them and just drop your payload, hopefully really do some nasty damage. So we now have a designated bomber. In addition, we've then got one more new craft here. It is basically, so this is the HMS Wingman. It is designed to act as an electronic suite in case we lose ours. So if the Hellfire ends up in a fight and gets the it gets its control tower knocked off, basically. If it gets its electronic suite ripped apart, which is easily done, this thing will be a spare, and we can just keep this out of combat. It's got the jammers that are here. It's got 4 of those. It's got a the E-Lint electronics intelligence system. It's got fire control radar. It's got long range scanners. It's got basically all the stuff from the sensors section here. It's got an infrared as well. So this should, fingers crossed, hopefully be able to act as our eyes and ears in the absence of the command ship losing its electronic suite. It is based on, as well, it's based on the Voshkod. So if you look at the Voshkod, it's basically a Voshkod, but we've swapped out some of the electronics, got rid of duplicate ones, and I've given it more fuel, seeing as it's not going to be taking a combat role, so I've just stripped the guns, made room, and basically turned it into a bit of a tanker. It's also slightly cheaper, but you can't really make it much cheaper than it is, because the electronics suite costs so much. It's like a 30 grand electronic suite. Which I actually looked at the longbow, wondering if I could create some kind of carrier that might be more efficient than the longboat. Not really. This thing, even now with all these thrusters, doesn't have very good thrust to weight, it doesn't have very good speed, it's slow, it's decent consumption and range, but the most of the cost of this ship is in the pair of guns which I think are necessary as anti-air, just so it can swat down missiles. And then it's all in the bombers and the interceptors. It's pretty much, I think if you strip the ship down, take the guns and the aircraft off, and the ammo, it drops to about 10k. The ship isn't very expensive. It's all the armament on it, and things for the ships and things. So I've not bothered creating my own because I think this is probably about as efficient as you're going to get it really with carriers. That said though, I have finally, last edition we have here is with the Hellfire. You may notice a few changes. The Hellfire is now, it's a little bit wider, it's a little bit taller. It is very, very scary. This thing is an absolute destroyer of worlds. It now costs 30 grand more though. In fact no, just a bit shy, more like 25 really. But it costs a bit more. How much more do you get from this? Well, for a start, we've expanded the... So I've expanded the fuel tanks. These are now twice as large on each side. So it now actually has over 800 kilometer range. So it has some actual semi-decent range to it. Its consumption is still just ludicrous. Its speed is horrendous, but of course it is, given the type of ship this is. However, what I will point out, while all that is true, is that this thing, so it's actually got fewer guns than last time. It's lost a couple of these miniguns, as you'll remember there were a few down the sides here. And I've, because of that, removed some of the ammo, things like that. But it now packs a missile on each side. These are not ship-to-ship missiles, these are theatre missiles. So it can now mount missiles on its side sponsons here, on the spaced armours. And we can launch these from the theatre if we really need to remove targets from an area without engaging ourselves, which has occurred on numerous occasions. So that will be nice. Can use those as a nasty first strike weapon. I will say one issue with the fuel tanks, we really don't want to be firing below us at this point. But in fact I do wonder if it would maybe be more beneficial, instead of having these here, to maybe have them on the sides here, but I'm not going to be faffing with it now. I think it'll be fine. The big change is with this top bit and this bit in the middle here. You'll notice that this wasn't there before. So, the top, we've got an expanded electronic suite with all this is reinforced hull now, and it's quite armoured. It's as armoured as it can be, but obviously these things have to be kind of up top, so that they're not, so that nothing's getting in the way of their functions. But again, that's why I've created the Wingman. I don't know if we'll have the budget to afford the Wingman. It'll be nice if we do. If we don't, we'll just have to look for a Voshgod out there and hope that we can afford it at the time. But the big change, now this little bit here is where the bridge used to be. This little grey bit here is now just armour plating, so plunging fire will come down. It has to work its way through the electronic suite, which we hope that we don't really engage much in we don't get much plunging fire. Really, we want ships to be kind of sort of to up and to the right and or up and to the left slightly. Basically, we want to try and engage enemies that are on the side, kind of like in a arc, sort of like that, along here, and the same on this side. We want to try and broadside them. The weakest point on this is the top, because of that open electronic suite up here. As a result, we've put one thing I noticed last time, we seemed to run out of fire extinguishers fairly easily, so I've put a few more of those on the ship. So as you can see, if I highlight one, we can see all the different fire extinguishers now. I have, but the big thing is, as I mentioned, plunging fire comes in. It's got to get through all the way through these modules, through all this reinforced hull, then make its way through the main batteries. Though that shouldn't be too hard. There's an ammo containers here. This kind of a citadel. This, we don't really want this getting hit, which is why it's surrounded by armour on all sides. But it might. If that goes and all this goes as it has before, the rest of the ship isn't doomed then, because the bridge is now dead centre. The bridge is here. This is the bridge. This cube here, this little square, has to die for the rest of the ship to be considered dead, right? And yeah, so they have to work through all of that on the top to get through. Now with these larger fuel tanks, we are going to have to be wary of ships trying to get under us. That will be an issue. We're a bit vulnerable to ships beneath. But, you know, a bit vulnerable. A lot of these can still, I think, all of the ones from like here to the left, and the same on this side, so at least half of these miniguns and the ones in the centre here, these two. So you can still probably get hit by about, even if you're dead beneath, perfect centre, you can probably still get hit by about 8 miniguns. You know, it's a quote unquote weak spot. But yeah, with all of this armour, layer of it there, layer a bit here, layers on the side. In fact, it's a dual layer that, so that the fuel can't set any fires to it. It is absolutely ridiculous. Also, final thing as well, on these wing bits here and along the top, along the electronic suite, there is now a flare system. Right, we've got flares. These all pointed in one direction. They're all pointing up. Should get rid of most missiles. We shouldn't be taking as much of a pummeling now from enemy ships, just launching missiles at us. And finally, there's an ace in the hole as well that I've not mentioned yet. We have these. The Palash 1 APS, Active Protection System, designed to defend the ship against artillery shelling. Notice that we have some here that cover the sides, that go all along the gun decks. These, yep, pointed out to the sides. We've got some pointing above. Now they can't cover the entire area because the radar blocks some of it, but they are pointing up. As you can see, best as well as they can. And we've got some built into the wings as well here, into these armoured wings. There they are, one there, one there, one there, one there, which protect, pointing outwards in an arc from the sides. And lastly, we've got 2 on the bottom, just in line with the bridge. Active protection system, if you have played Call of Duty. Oh, and this is new. This is the new patch. So we can put, say, mid, large, difficulty. We can set it higher or lower. We'll just put 5. We'll keep it standard. We'll face some mid and large tier things. Quite a lot there. There's a Nomad as well. And these are Gladiators, so this will be a hell of a fight. But if you've seen an active protection system, it's basically like a trophy system from a video game, if you play like Call of Duty or something. So as you can see, the missiles now go for that. There we go. None of those hit at all. But moreover, ow, took a little knock there. But you'll notice a lot of these shells are now hitting the... They're now hitting the ship and not doing anything. That's the active protection system kicking in. And remember as well, not only can we use the active protection system, we do still have these miniguns. So we have a lot of protection now. And as you can see, that's a Nomad. So this will really test our metal, this. There we go, structural damage, they're actually through the armour. We'll just swat this out of the way quickly. Yeah, we're at a point where we're swatting Gladiators out of the way. That is a Nomad kill. That right there. So we're now fighting frigates. At this point we've lost the electronic system along the top. There's a hole on the left side of the ship on the top decks that is now eating away at some of our miniguns on that side. The right side, which was facing the Nomad, is actually fairly fine. I think it put plunging fire into the top left, which is probably what caused that breach. Ow, those missiles are going to hurt. It took a hell of a hit from us then, and it's going to take a hell of a hit for us, from us now. We've lost most of the flare systems. You'll notice, however, again, that because that bridge hasn't been destroyed, we're losing everything else before it. Notice on the diagram on the bottom left, the very centre of the ship, there's the two fuel tanks which aren't even damaged yet, and in between them those white areas of armour, and the bridge is in between those. Nothing has even got close to the bridge yet. And at this point, we are still absolutely hammering a lot of the enemies. The main batteries, we've lost the one on the right, we've still got the one on the left. At this point we've probably killed an entire strike group worth and then some, all by ourselves. The only issue here is that this will probably cost about, well, it would cost a fleet worth to repair, of course. and take several days most likely. We can still keep swatting these missiles out of the sky. Speaking of missiles, we've now the bottom armor on the ship has been breached. A lot of the engines have taken damage of some description. I'm going to quickly kill this one above. Right. The bridge is finally exposed along the bottom. The bridge is now exposed. There we are. 3 frigates were left. I think was that nearly all of them? Let's see, what ships were those that were left? I think it might have been. I think we might have been down to 3 of these. I think we got through most of those up to like here. So again, it is the Hellfire is absolutely devastating now, and we do now get well, it's saying 12.7 thou, but when it tallies up our bonuses from this one, we've now got 63,000 points bonus to take into the next mission. So, we will select the HMS Hellfire. Now 193,500 to buy, leaving us with 116. Still more than we had last time, even given its additional expense. We will be needing several fuel silos for this journey. We'll be wanting to, as well, probably go for a we'll definitely want a few Wasps, a few bombers, a Hornet, I don't think we'll be able to afford the Wingman. 33 grand we will not. Let's see, 2 Wasps, 2 bombers, a Hornet. I don't think we can. I might take out one of the. Should I take out a bomber? Oh, that's something as well, the bombers, I nearly forgot. They have the, because they don't have as many missiles on its armoured wings as the Hornet, and I wanted to give them a bit of extra protection, given that they're carrying bomb payloads. They actually have a active protection system as well built into the side sponsons there. That's why they're a bit more costly than the Wasp. You wouldn't think there'd be that much more just for the bombs, but yeah. I tell you what, we'll get rid of one of them, because this is basically, it's like 2 Wasps and then an upgraded Wasp, really, isn't it? Because we need the Hornet for that anti-large bonus that it gives us for just deleting large opponents. We need that. That range isn't great. We'll have a look, we'll see how that goes. Right. Skip the tutorial, open up. Oh yeah, that's plenty of range, that. We can nearly get to that fuel storage. Let's roll, shall we? Strike force. We will select a Hornet, a Bee, and a Wasp. 62%. 78 if we just send the Bee and the Wasp. I don't think it'll be heavily defended at this point. We'll drop our speed slightly and then speed up. Nope, we're fine because I've already sent one. Because I'm that brainy. So, bombs. Yep, middle mouse for bombs. But in all fairness, I don't think we'll need them here. And that's something we need to consider. We don't want to use the bombs if we don't need the bombs. Yeah. Absolutely no need to use bombs there whatsoever. Okay. We will... Let's have a look. We'll put some protection on. Secure the fuel. We will get that gun. Get the radio. And dismantle this. Right. Lovely stuff. Okay. Now, we don't need to land anything, nothing's really damaged. You started hearing rumours about your officers getting involved in the slave trade. Ah, yes, we've seen this one. We will not be turning a blind eye to, we'll not be turning a blind eye to it. Order +2, lovely stuff. Ooh, morale's down though, taking a knock. We need fuel to get to the fuel storage. And we have some guns to pay for it. There we go. Ah, lovely. Right, before we do that as well, I nearly forgot. Shipworks. Repair. Did it have literally no damage to it? Wow, so even those little bullets that hit just scraped the paint, basically. Right. We are going to refuel. Right, lovely. We're on 46%. We are going to find the nearest strike group. So we want to avoid around here. We want to avoid this location. We might have to go around there though. There is a save point. So perhaps at some stage we will. But for now, we've got 2 more intel. Right, so these don't obey the lines either. Yeah, that's why we struggle to find them sometimes. Okay. Good to know. Not that we can do much about that, but oh well. I don't think we'll have any money to buy reinforcements, so we won't be able to get any from here or here. We may wish to just slowly move to Sheba here. Oh, and nearly forgot. Oh wow, actually, if you lower your speed, it lowers fuel efficiency. Okay. We will take a bee and a wasp, and they will land. Message is... expecting 14 hours, heading south. Ah, that'll be the strike group. That's another point as well. I keep missing some of these messages where it says, oh, we're heading this way, we're heading that way. It is worth pointing out that it's not really worth following them unless you know what they are. It can easily be a strike group like that. So we've got a bomber, we've got a couple of corvettes. Right. Ow. Oh, did I? I'm sure I put flares on this. Did I not? And the bombs missed. Ow. I think we can do that again and do it a lot better. Yeah. Ah, the git. Oh, that looks nasty. Large explosion there. I think that was one of the missiles going off. Well, let's not take any more damage. Oh, I was going to say we'll retreat and call in the Wasp for this, but... yeah, that's about as much as I was expecting there. We're not going to get those fuel tanks. No way. We can get basically everything else, but not those fuel tanks. However, that fuel will be important. Right. £6 hours, 300 quid. No worries. And we can refuel fairly cheaply. Wow, we can get quite far on that. Almost to the next fuel storage. Lovely. Okay, so It's too bad that even with a fuel silo, we put a Hornet on, and we can get a Wasp as well. What kind of range could we get on these? Because I'm wondering if I could send a few task groups out. Perhaps send 2 task groups, maybe one here. Yeah, let's try that. And we'll go Wasp, Silo, Hornet. And we'll send them to... yeah, here. We'll go to the reinforcement areas on both. Spent too much time here. I understand. Right. This should be easy. Ow, 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 ow. Ooh, I might have been able to do a better job at this, really, thinking about it. Yeah, maybe not that much better. I lost a missile though, which I'm annoyed at. But otherwise, pretty good. Right. Ooh. There's a lot of guns we can dismantle there. Lovely, okay. In the meantime, I could land it. It's still got its gear on. That's another change I've made as well. The landing gear on this, it's a bit, it's got a little feet now, as well there, as you can see, that's jut out from the sides. 500 meters. 300 meters. 100 meters. Throwing it ready. Touchdown confirmed. Structural damage received. That is not large enough. That is absolutely not large enough. Why are they all tiny? Right, we're going to have to go for that 10. And we've got damaged thrusters on the left side, so that's going to make it tricky. 300 meters. Wow. I'm just not gonna bother. I keep thinking, ooh, maybe I could. No, you. What is it doing on there? Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that's probably made it worse. Why is it not repairing the chassis? The chassis on it. Oh, whatever. Got some bombs for the B. That'll be nice. 7k. Supplies. They don't need it, they'll be able to make it back to the fuel depot. Meanwhile, here. Attention, visual contact. Right. They managed to get a message out. That's a strike group, isn't it? all light cruisers. Those are flares, I think, but those two there, those are missiles. So there's 4 missiles on this. 1, 2 missiles, I think. Right, probably going to be facing minimum 8 missiles, I think. Oh, he'll not be happy. The right side is taking some knocks. Let's get those missiles in. There's the flares. Notice they are working a lot better now. We've got extinguishers, we'll activate them. That's going to hit, unfortunately. Missiles are out. And we're going to have to go. That was a direct hit. I think those are laser guided shells, those, because they seem to, when they, yeah. That's another frigate gone. Right, we just have to destroy a frigate with a corvette, or what's left of our corvette. Ooh, it might be worth getting out of here though. Yeah, we aren't gonna win this fight. This has severely damaged our Wasp, and I can barely move the thing now. We've lost one of the manoeuvring thrusters. Yeah, there's the other manoeuvring thruster. We can barely move. We're gonna go down. I'm gonna restart that. Right. Ooh, we've got 21 incendiaries on those 100 mils. Okay. That could be a difference maker. We'll start with the Wasp this time. That light fire will damage these Wasps. They're not that durable. There's the last missile. We are spinning at the moment. I'd like to go out having killed one, but I think it's rather unlikely at this point. Yeah, I think we're unlikely to get that kind of... Yeah, the Wasps just aren't dealt. They're just not designed to deal with this. Getting close. Gotta make these incendiaries count. Yeah, there we are. Ow. Fire extinguishers have been hit. Right, I'm just gonna launch this and retreat. Right, let's get to that retreat point. God, every single hit's ripping one of my missiles off. Ugh. Oh god, here we go though. We've got to somehow get this over to the retreat. Wow, they are just opening up missiles onto it. And they're chasing me. Great. Ooh, and that's most of the ship that just dissolved. Good God. I think I'd be even tempted to just restart the entire campaign here at this. Not a great start at all. How is that ship not dead? Christ. Like half of the bottom end is missing. On, gotta get him. Where do they have all these missiles? Christ almighty. Oh, and he's above. Wow. Okay. They're heading east, urgent repair. So they're going over here. They will not make it. But annoyingly... Oh, that recharges over time as well, doesn't it? Go on. Go on. Have they decided not to come? Guess they decided not to come. Huh. Anyway. Well, in 6 hours, average speed 150, southeast requires something on arrival. So some people heading southeast, we can't reach out, we haven't got the fuel. Wasp B agreed.
Attention, new target on the radar. Hold that ship going.
Okay. Something direct north. Something on the edge, yeah. Here-ish. We might be able to intercept something here. Who knows? Wow. I get the first strike, yet they managed to do that. Good God. Come on, die already. Ow. Ow. Get. Nasty sod.
Attention, visual contact.
We will secure the fuel. Dismantle this. Two well-dressed young men asked to see you. Bound deal, they call to invite you to dine at the house of a local Mowler. Is this the one with, I don't know, different... Oh, this is new, I think. The room they take you to is well lit and spacious. Several guests are reposing at the long dining table. The master of the house has saved the best seats for you and your companions. The excellent meal is followed by a slow, leisurely conversation. The master of the house addresses you. I heard many stories of Sayadi wisdom. Would you be so kind as to answer a question for me, Grand Duke? 2 men are stranded in the desert. One carries a jug full of water. If both drink from it, both will die. But if only one drinks, he will have the strength to reach a village and survive. What would be the right thing to do? The man with the water should drink it all. The man with the water should give it to his friend. Probably the second answer. The room is quiet as the rest of the guests await your explanation. There is no greater love than to sacrifice one's life for a friend. He slowly shakes his head. But if your fellow traveller accepts your water, would that not make him a murderer? Well, no. Murder requires intent. Right. If I repair this to full, yeah, it's going to rearm the missiles and bombs. Nice. Lovely stuff. And the Hornet. No need. This one's not seen combat yet, so it's not used any of its first strike weapons. And we're going to need... Nope, not that. We're going to need some fuel. Ooh. From cache, something arrival in approx less, and position, something going at full speed heading north Ural. Okay, right. Do I have anything left to sell? No. We do not. Well, this is going to be awkward. Travel in less than an hour. Average speed. Okay. Let's see. There must be something. And they're encrypted. Damn. Oh, we actually have 2 of them. already. 5:11. Right, that's route. Where did I go past the U? Must have. There. Not quite, is it? Right. That's meant to be a CAD, and that's meant to be cache. So there must be another O there that we can get. There. So 5:11, 4:11. So arrival in something go on the route CAD cache. Carrying weaponry require provisions on arrival. Again, if we had the fuel for this, we could send out units to there. But unfortunately not. Push to Bal. I think we can just arrive at Kush. Just. Barely. Oh, mind you, we're waiting for that repair to finish, aren't we? And we have to get rid of this before time will go forward. Come on. Hurry. 1 hour. There we are. Okay. No, surely not. What could? Right, we're just going to have to go to one that we can get to. We're going to have to go to Tabal and hope that we kill something on the way. And we'll send these. They've detected us. And let me guess, is it from Tabal? No. From over there somewhere. Oh, I bet the unidentified ship thing was from here though, wasn't it? Right. We didn't get the sudden strike. Okay. Yeah, probably best send the Wasp. This isn't going to be a sudden. This isn't going to be a strike. It's going to be a bit of a bust. Ow. Okay. That should be dead. Just in case it's not though, there we go. And And that one. Got him, finally. Okay, we lost one crew member. Right. We need those valuables.
Target on the radar.
I think that is aircraft going past.
Attention, new target on the radar.
Yeah, aircraft. Oh, for God's sake.
Engine lost.
Ooh. Yep, that killed the Wasp.
Attention, new target on the radar.
There we are. Travelling out for 8 hours following Sheba Shiloh. And Ashdod. Okay. We cannot land in the city until the fire ends.
Attention, new target on the radar.
Unungarati Tarkan in area north of city Tabal. North of the city Tabal. Where is that? Where's Tabal? Ah! Oh. It's saying northwest of... We went northwest of... Oh, northeast. Well, might have to find a note in the pocket. Ah, we know this one. There's a traitor. And we're not doing anything with Fazil. We'll need to sell that. Ooh, well, a good one that. 6 grand worth. We need fuel to reach Kush. But not much more than that. We haven't... I don't think we've salvaged any ammo so far. Unfortunately...
Warning, radar emission detected.
At this point, I honestly think that down to 2 escorts
Attention, new target on the radar.
I think that we're done for. But before we call it, I'll have a nice fight with this to end on. We'll call that an episode. I think this has been a cursed start here, unfortunately. Wow. Most of those just got flattened by us as we were manoeuvring. Open fire! Oh god. What? Hang on. That's worth how much? Because it said really valuable. Oh wow, yeah, we got 8 turbojet fighter bombers. What? What? 8 fighter bombers. Wow. Wow, it wasn't lying. They are insanely valuable. They weren't even equipped on those ships. I have no idea why we have these. But it's just given us 16 grand. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Yeah. I'm still going to call this one here. Not just the episode, but this campaign. That's a bit of a... Again, it's a cursed start, that. Yeah. Wow, it is... Have they made it so you get more bonus points in that last update? Maybe it wasn't calculating it correctly before or something. We now get 89 and a bit grand to get through this. Either that or it's giving me absolute just pity cash. You know, it just pities me. I don't know. Either way though, next time we'll be able to start a new game. We'll be able to get... Probably... Again, I think it's a good idea. Just send 2 task forces out. With a fuel silo each. It's not the worst idea. Send those out while the main force is refueling and rearming. Pull them back after they've pull them back afterwards. See if you can get some goodies from the ships you scavenge. Basically, I'm treating it a bit more like FTL now. If in the early game we can utilise those extra ships we start with to just send out in small task forces, beat the snot out of anyone there, and basically then just salvage as much as possible. Again, as you've seen with the main ship, we've increased the fuel efficiency as well of most of the ships, but in doing that, in getting as much salvage as we can early, that should give us a nice cash injection that takes us through into the late game, buys us a few extra ships, allows us to keep us Tarkans about and so on, and then at the very end we should be able to hit them with a pretty hefty force. Fingers crossed. But for now, thank you very much for watching. At the very least, we know that the new design is working well. At the very least, we know the new designs are absolutely working well. I'm considering, I'll be honest, putting some active protection systems possibly on the Hornets as well. I'll play around with the idea. I think the main problem was that would cause the Hornets to, yeah, the Hornets would basically start costing a lot more, but also the missiles are in the way of those, so that either have to be on. Either have to increase the size of those side panels or remove two of the missiles. And it might also be an idea to do the same with the Wasps. I'm also considering putting more fire extinguishers on them all. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.